Okay, so for this video, I'm going to show you guys possibly my favorite base to build right now, currently, out of all the bases I've done. So this is what the base looks like from the outside. This is the base completely finished and upgraded relatively well. So I'm going to give a quick base tour before we start from the beginning and build the whole thing. We have our gates connected to the wide gaps. The front door, we come up. Furnaces, boxes, repair bench, loot room, loot room. You come down, more boxes. You have your tier 3, your TC, main loot. And let's come up and back up to the next floor around here. Don't break that, obviously. And then we come up to the next floor. Mixing tables, locker, electricity for battery, more a final loot room, and then in the shooting floor, which we have windows, and we have the entrances to the wide gaps. We have a locker room with a bed on both sides here. Here's the other one. Then we have the wide gaps, which come all the way around the whole base. I keep breaking stuff. And then we come up to the next floor. And we have the roof. You can see everything fine up here. And then finally, you have an extra locker the way up to the top of this section here, because there's supposed to be netting, a vending machine to sell, and a mini copter garage. And for the resources needed, you have 20,000 stone, 100,000 or 20,000 wood, 100,000 stone, 13k metal frags, and 200 high qual. So it's not that expensive to make. It's really secure, especially on doors. Its defense is awesome. It looks cool. It's easy. It's not like this tall, huge base. I think it's very doable, and I absolutely love it. I think I'm probably going to start living out of this. So for now, we're going to head over here, and I'm going to build the entire base. And I'm going to do it as quickly as possible because I don't want the video to be over an hour. But to start this base off, basically, don't have a foundation too low. You want it around here. And we're going to take these foundations and we're going to come all the way around like this. Just like at the other base. And then you can come out with your squares. And add triangles to fill in. And just like we had on the other base, we're going to make this section here TC. So you can do this. Okay, and like I was saying, you upgrade this and you place your TC right on the inside. And you can throw a window on, sheet metal that. So we'll put reinforced glass there later. Then you can come around here and we're going to sheet metal all of these foundations. So sheet metal all of those, and then the opposite of where the TC is the jump up. So you can place this here, just like this, and then these two triangle sections are loot rooms, which this becomes armored. And wait, these walls as well you can bring to armored, and put both your loot rooms facing the TC like this. Just like so. And then when you want to place your boxes, you grab them and just rotate them and put them like this. And we'll add our doors at the end for each floor. And the same thing goes for this side, basically. You could upgrade these shelves to sheet metal as well if you'd like, to protect the bottom boxes. Here, here. Throw that like that. That like that. And then we can put the doors on. Just great. And then we'll come around. And as we have our jump up here, which we can add a door on, you could just wall off the rest of this section. Just like this. Wall it all off, and then we'll add our ceilings quickly. I actually should be doing this straight to metal, but I'll show you anyways. This all goes to metal. This is the core of the base. We want this to be at least sheet metal. And especially the ceiling. And this intersection should be armored. The ceiling is really important because it's a circle in the middle and you can rocket that really easily. So you want that to be as strong as possible. And then we'll come down here. And then right where the TC is, you can place your tier 3. Grab yourself a small box. Always. Your bags. You could just place it like this. And then run around. Add your frames. And then place garage doors all throughout the whole intersection of the base. Just like that. Upgrade these as well. So now we have this main section completed. And then on the squares, you could throw some extra boxes, and if you want to fit as many as possible. But I like to keep it open for running around and such, because I don't like to keep this hallway too cluttered. But now you have this, the main loot, the boxes, and shotgun traps under a shotgun trap if you had them. If you wanted to craft them like this. We come up to the next floor, and the first thing we're going to do is place this. I don't want to be a metal, but yeah. Place this, add your door, and then the next jump up will be opposite again. Like so. And leave the ceiling there, obviously. And then the same deal with these two sections is loot rooms once again. This is secondary loot right here. And you can do this. Sheet metal all of this. Especially the ceiling, that's the most important part. Grab your boxes. And then door it. And then once this is done, you have completed secondary loot. And for the record, this intersection, before I get too far into the base, this intersection from this garage door down could be the starter base. So you can turn this into a starter if you want. It doesn't have to be the full base right away, which is good that it transforms like that. And then after this, we have this section. You can place on every section of the base, just add a triangle. Like so. And then you can add your walls, because this is going to be honeycombing except on the jump up part. So this one, you could leave as a frame. And this would be the front entrance, basically. You do garage door and then double door in the front. And then place a furnace for jump up. So that's the front door. And then let's add our honeycombing. And then add your ceilings like this. And you have honeycomb the base. And then we'll come around and close this off for the next floor. Just like so. And then, before we continue, we're going to add 2 furnaces in each triangle. And if you want to replace this for electric furnaces, that's also an option. We'll do this. Then you can grab your deployables like your research bench or your repair bench. You can come down and do this type of stuff with. So you do that there. You want a tier 2 up here for quick crafting. You can do that. This, and then this section, or this section you could put a bed if you'd like. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You could put the tier 1 for tech tree in case you want to do that as well. There's plenty of options, but this is the next section. It looks like this. And we are going to sheet metal this next floor as well. You can do this little thing here as well if you'd like, but I like to keep this stone because I want to keep it hidden where the important parts of the base are. So after this, just sheet metal. And then add your ceilings. And sheet metal these as well. and then honeycomb the next floor as well. Okay, so now we're on the third and final floor, and once again we're going to do the same thing with the jump ups. Like this, and then I'll come to the opposite side, and this is where we jump up again. And then one of these intersections this time will be a loot room. Like this. And add your door. And then this time for this section, you can sheet metal this wall. And then add your battery and a locker. The large battery like this. And then do this, and you can close it off like that. And then you can do the same thing over on this section, but with a locker. Just like that. So now we have this part of the floor completed, and I'm gonna do the ceilings, sheet metal it, and then sheet metal this next area. Like so. So now that it's all sheet metaled, we can add our walls. And depending on if you're using electricity or not, you would add electric furnaces around this roundabout here. You could add electric furnaces or beds or just extra boxes, lockers, whatever. That's not really important. I just recommend, and that goes for the floor below as well, having a garage door every so often that you come around. Maybe just on the squares, just where you can get them, because it gets expensive after a while having a million garage doors. So just try and get them where you can. Like that. And then the same would go for the floor below, which we didn't do, but you kind of get the idea. You could throw them down. I mean, depending on how many metal frags and gears you have, and how many garage doors you'll actually be placing. But that's okay for now. Then we come up and we'll honeycomb the next floor. We come all the way around. Like this. So now we honeycomb this. And now we're going to get straight to the wide gaps. For this, it's pretty simple and quick. Find your front door. This triangle will be our main triangle. To do the wide gaps, you go out a square, you go out a triangle, and then another square, and then another triangle. So now you have this facing, which is even, and then you go out 2 more triangles, or 2 more squares, and place a triangle. And then you come back 1 circle of triangles, like this, and then place 1 more, like this. And then you just go out 2 squares. And then you add 2 triangles here, and you add 2 triangles there. So it looks like this. And then you can delete all of these triangles, except these ones. And then what that lets you do is you can come and add your frames all the way up and place the ceilings. And then that's a wide gap. So we're going to do that on 4 different sides. So let's go do it as quickly as we can again. It's the same exact thing. Just make sure you do it evenly around the base. So now, same thing. We'll come up with our frames. Place our floors. And let's do it again. And you can obviously skip this part if you don't want to watch me build all 4 wide gaps. I'm sure you don't, but in case you're confused or you just want to make sure you're building it right. Delete them all again. And then place your frames. And then here. And then finally, we'll move on to doing it one more time. Around. And then we got this completed. And then we'll add our frames. And then that's all 4 of the wide gaps completed, except the intersections we'll fill in a second. So now we have this. And then to fill in these intersections is extremely easy. Just place 2 more triangles. Build up with frames. And place it in a square. This square is connected to the base. And that is pretty much it. You can do the same thing on all 4 sides. And come up with frames again. Come up with frames again. And now this is completed. And before we move on, we're going to sheet metal all of these foundations so they can't be picked out really easily and break the wide gaps. Okay, once those are sheet metal, we can come up and place the windows on the outer section, all connected to the wide gaps. Like that. So now we have this, and then let's come back to the intersection of the base. This is simple. Same exact jump up type of deal that we've been doing the entire time. Like so, and then this time, for this section, these will not be loot rooms, and they will be lockers. So to do this, you just come up, place a locker here, place your bed as far in as you can, and then a garage door. And the same thing goes for here as well. You just shove the locker in, and then the locker here. And then the bed goes in as far as you can get it. And then you can add a garage door. It may stick out a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. Just the way it is. So then you have the locker rooms, and then, if you're looking at it from this angle, on the section where the 2 squares are the closest, is where we're going to have our frames. So basically, if you come out, it's this square and this square. And then from this triangle, it's this square and this square. And then the rest of it's windows, which you can add the reinforced glass to. And then you can put garage doors on here. And then add your ceilings. So this is this section, and then I'll quickly do this. So now we have this, and then finally, to do these this next section, all you have to do is find this one floor that we know is still connected to the base, and then place 2 frames on it. And do that on all 4 sides. This will allow stability for these. So now we have that, and then you could just pretty much fill in the ceilings as needed. You want to make it easier, just come around and place all the triangles first. And then just add your squares. Just like that. So now we have this. And then next we're going to go to the roof section. Now the roof is a little different, but it's not that difficult to do. Basically, we're going to start off by placing the big normal roofs on each 4 of these triangles. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. place a normal roof like this on the wide gap section. So it's a little difficult to place, but you can get it. It has to, not on the main base, but on the wide gap. And do that on all 4 sections. It'd be a little bit tricky to place, but if you rotate around, you can get it relatively easy. Here, and then here, and this goes here, and this goes here. Now, we have this. This next section is a little different. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take triangle roofs and have this triangle roof in this section. But we want this triangle roof not connected. We don't want it connected to the wide gaps, because, let me do that again, it's going to make this roof all weird and detached and ugly. We want it connected to the main section, like this. And the same thing for these big roofs. And the reason for this is if you have them on the wide gaps, they don't connect. If I can get it. Yeah, here. They won't connect and it'll look like this, which we don't want. That's why we have these 4 roofs on the main section, which is like this. And then the same thing for the triangle. We can do that on all 4 sides. So now we have the roof completed. Then we can come and there's this little section where we normally have the jump up is going to become the mini copter garage. And to do that, you just do 2 frames with doors and have 2 walls and then a normal door, and that'll be a shop to sell. And you can just fly your mini copter right in. It'll fit perfectly fine. Then these sections here, one of them will be a jump up to the next floor. And then this section will be a roof locker kit, which you can just do as we've always done. Locker. And these reinforced windows are only for when you log off. You can place it to defend the locker even more. That's it. There's no other reason for it. You don't have them on normally during the day. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take our frames and we're going to find each of these squares. So you have 1 square there, and we're going to turn these into basically the windmills. And to do that, you just find the squares that are opposite, and we're going to do 3 in this case, like this. Then just go up another few stories like this. If you'd like to go up higher, you can. It doesn't really matter. I think the height is correlated to the power, but either way it'll work. And then you just place your frames like this. And I'm gonna get out of fly mode so you can see how I get up there. Get netting like this. And place it on the inside. So you can jump up here like this, and then when you want to get up to your windmills, you can jump, you could just climb right up and grab some windmills. And to place them, you can just do this quickly out of twig. 3 windmills. Boom. Now we have power. This is what we're at so far. And then finally, we're going to do the gates. Do the gates. You just, let's start at the front door section. You can find the 2 triangles that are at the center of your wide gaps, not the ones closer to where there's the gap and the floor, just the center. And what you do is, we just go square and then triangle and then out 2. And then this will be a gate. Let's do the gates, just pretty self-explanatory. Just like this. And you add your vertical embrasures on your ceilings, and then to connect them you can just add frames like this, and then that will allow the TC that we're about to place to be part of the upkeep. And to do the TC, you just go 2 squares out and then triangle, and then you can do this. You grab this, and what you do is place the TC in, And as you can see, 165 metal frags and 1300 stone. That is protecting this entire section of the base, including the wide gaps. Then you just PC this and add a window. You can break the foundations here and just add this little roof section. And then we're going to do that on all four sides. You can skip this part, but I'm going to just show it in case people want to see. And it's the same exact thing. Your windows, your walls, doors, frames. Go out to once again. PC. You can see us protecting it once again. Window. And then add your frames to connect it. And then once again, 2 more times. Connect with the frames. And 2 out, triangle. And then once again protecting it. Do this, and then for the last one, the same exact thing. And then out 2 squares. Do you see it? Add your window. See, it's protecting. Demolish. Now, as you can see, TC's all the way around the whole base. Then, grab your high external walls. This part's extremely easy. You just wall the base. All the way around. It's like about 4 walls per section, so it's 16 walls total. So you can place these more elegantly, but I'm just rushing through this because it doesn't really matter right now. You can have your large furnaces and then have your auto turrets all on these peak downs and such. You get the idea. That's why we have the electricity so protected. Here. Then once you have the gates, you can grab your barricades. And to place these, you just come up, place 2 triangles. And you can just shove one on the right. And this. And then demolish. And then there's your 2 barricades. And then we'll repeat the same thing on both sides. This will stop people from jumping in the base. And on the last side. Yeah, this is because I placed the wall horribly. That's it, though. I would not worry too much about that. Yeah, this one's only because I placed the wall so awful. I'll just fix that really quickly. There we go. Now, you can delete these triangles as well, by the way. They won't get demolished. That's the whole base. Everything. So let's check the resources needed. It's going to be about the same as I showed in the beginning. 20,000 wood, 94,000 stone, 16,000 high qual, 200 high qual, 16,000 metal frags. The only thing I completely didn't do, but obviously doesn't make a difference. You do this in the real game. Just add your vertical embrasures all the way around. This will just about complete everything. The last thing I want to show is the upkeep for the main TC. Which is the only thing that I didn't show. You saw all the outer TCs. It's really cheap for them, surprisingly. So that's the vertical embrasures. Then we can come in like this. That's the upkeep. That's not that bad, honestly. That's pretty light. Obviously, you can hike one more stuff if you need to. That's the whole base. I really, really like this base. If you want to see a different type of base or like a smaller, little, like more miniature expansions, then just let me know. Or if you're looking for even bigger bases, and if you want me to do all the electricity, like turrets and lights and door controllers and furnaces, then I could do that as well. It takes a long time, and I haven't really needed to go in depth in that section in a while. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to give suggestions as well for how to improve a base like this, because if I'm going to be living in a space, I want to know what people think as well. Yeah, that's about it.